Good morning, this is Jeff again here, 8334 Southeast Sherritt Street. We're advanced all the way out to the main. The other video is some commentary about how I cannot get any water to go through this pipe. I just ran every fixture in the home on the main level for 10-15 minutes in total. Zero water flow. Anyway, I pushed all the way out to the main here. I mostly was doing that just trying to figure out what the heck we were dropping into here, because this looks like a sewer line. Everything about it does. It's a shallow line for a basement, but there's also no plumbing in the basement, so the depth makes sense, considering everything's going out basically ground level, like an average home would. All the downspouts are kicked out onto the ground, so this does not appear to be a storm sewer. My concern right now is that this thing is leaking like a sieve. That it's losing every drop of water somewhere. It's very hard to figure out though. So anyway, I'm going to turn a garden hose on. I've got stuff down this pipe so we can at least inspect this thing. But my bigger concern is from this clean out back to the home, if there's something going on. And it's hard to verify everything right now too. We do not have access to the front right corner basement room, which is very near where the sewer line would likely drop down into. I just have nothing to go off of here to look at. All right, just turn the garden hose on. We'll see some water here in a moment. And the staining and everything about this line looks like a sewer line. It's what you would expect to see, the way that the stains are inside here. I'm going to go locate... Oh, there we go. There's our water flow. I'm just going to go verify we're out on Sherritt really quick. And then what I'm going to do now that you can see we have water going through the line is I'm just going to let the pipe drain out now, and we'll inspect this thing the good old-fashioned way, like we're at the main, drain the line out, we're going to start reeling back in here. I just located the camera head here out on Sherritt. And in total, my foot counter always counts back a little bit differently, and I may very well, if I can't get my camera lens to clean up here a little bit, I may have to just rerun the camera. First run there was dry, and doesn't take much to gunk a lens up without water flow going through it. Anyway, the line does a pretty darn straight shot out to the street. It zigs and zags a little bit, kind of cuts toward, as the line goes past the front right corner of the home, it does veer from right to left a little bit, and then it straightens out and shoots off the road. It makes its way out to the yard, through the front yard of the street. Veers off the perfectly straight pathway by very little. Anyway, and where this cleanout is located also makes sense too. It is immediately outside the main level bathroom, and that tie-in right there lines up. There's another, I think, an access point out in the road. Yeah, I think I'm going to clean the camera lens up a little bit just so you have a little nicer image of things here. But the staining, you see those little stains there on the ridges? That looks very indicative of what grease buildup looks like. And this is a very, very clean sewer line. But, in fact, it's nearly spotless. But those right there are the signs of life. That's not the kind of stuff you generally will see in a storm pipe. Anyway, we were about 75 feet to the main lateral approximately on that first initial run out. All right, once again, if I didn't mention it, I describe everything as if you're standing in the road facing the front door of the home. So currently, there's the street out there. We're about halfway up the right side, about 2 feet out from the house. You've got a clean out that sticks out of the ground, kind of like a 45-degree angle. And as we drop into this thing, we're Ying in. You know, there's certainly a pipe coming from behind us a little ways. It's very shallow here. I mean, I can reach to the bottom of this pipe. It's maybe 6 to 8 inches deep. All right, we're going to zero back out again. All right, off we go here. Just a little nicer image this time around. Anyway, the line it functions beautifully. I mean, from this point forward it does. Superbly clean sewer line. I think we had a couple spots of just some rinky-dink tiny little bits of standing water. It's hardly even worth talking about. It's so minor. Anyway, not knowing every detail of this home, I don't have access to portions of it, and the seller does not appear to have a key to parts of this house. It's that front right corner bedroom in the basement that I'm most interested in getting into, because it's about where it's right in that area where the toilet from upstairs would drop down into the floor. Anyway, we just dove down there. We're making a transition now over to 6-inch 3034. You got this tie-in right here, which is likely just a secondary clean out. I'm going to go locate that here in a second while the line drains. My foot kind of was off by a little bit. I don't think I zeroed out the first time I dropped into this thing. About 62 feet to the main. So we've already seen this part of the line here drained out. I'm going to pull back to that Y connection just to locate where that's at. Looks like just a secondary clean out access. And this is exactly how you want a sewer line to look right here. Thing is unbelievably clean, flows very nicely. Beautifully installed line. And someone paid a lot of money to have this thing installed. That's why it's just not making a lot of sense to me why we don't have water going through it. And or if it were to be put in for the sake of a storm system, you wouldn't be spending 15, 20 grand to put a pipe in like this to have all your downspouts kicked out onto the ground and not even utilize it. So that's why it's a little confusing what we've got going on here. All right, located this. You can't see it right now. It's a gravel road, but we are about where you would expect a street edge to be. We have no sidewalk or curb to go off of here like your typical road, but we are out beyond where like even the fire hydrant is, for example, about 2 feet beyond that. We're not in line with the hydrant, but just so you're aware, it's about 2 feet further out beyond where the hydrant is. And I don't see any stains coming off this thing. It doesn't look like a tie-in for a sewer line. Otherwise, you'd have staining coming down from that Y-in. So that looks like just a clean-out access. All that PVC looks fabulous. Teeny little bit of standing water right here at the transition. This is so minor, I'm not even putting on my report. That's like about a 1/16 of an inch of water. I don't even legitimize things like that by calling them a belly. I don't even start to consider repairs on bellies and plastic lines like this, especially large diameter 4 and 6-inch pipe, until you have at least a 5-foot section with at least an inch of standing water. That's with no water running at all. Even at that point, it is still nearly 100% the homeowner's doing if it gets a blockage out of it. So bellies like that have zero bearing on functionality whatsoever, especially the distance that is from the home and after going down an incredibly steep vertical drop. So anyway, to reiterate, so you've got as much info on this one as the other video. I ran every fixture on the main level: bathroom, sink, bathtub, the toilet, and the kitchen sink. Ran all of them simultaneously for a solid 15 minutes or more, probably more than that. Never had a drop of water go through the line here. So to reiterate, being that there is no plumbing in the basement, there's really no reason for the line to go out at basement floor level. So this clean out being very shallow would make sense. The bathroom is right through this wall here. And if it doesn't need to drop down to the basement level, it can come out of here very shallow. So all these things are lining up to be this being the sewer line. I just cannot, for the life of me, figure out why water is not getting from inside this house to this point. Unless this line services something else. And the other problem I'm having too is about where that toilet, in fact, the bathroom might be closer to right here. Where that toilet is at sits right about where the wall is that divides the area of the basement you can get into from the front right bedroom that you cannot get into right now. So there's no way for me to get in there and verify if there's sewer pipe shooting out through the wall here or something of that nature. There's just nothing to go off of to help clue you in. All I can tell is there's all the downspouts kick out onto the ground, so there's no reason for this thing to even be here to be utilized for storm pipe. And the staining that I'm seeing in the flow line there looks like sewer pipe debris. It looks like a little bit of grease buildup is in there, and that's the kind of stuff you would expect to see in a sewer line, not in a storm pipe. So the line itself here, from the clean out to the main, functions beautifully. Spotless clean, all the pipe is in fantastic condition. That's a sewer line to be proud of right there. The bigger question is what's going on between this clean out and the house. And the first step is getting into that bedroom down there to see what is in there to kind of help clue things in. If there's no sewer assets whatsoever in that room, the next place I would probably start here is yanking that main floor bathroom toilet and running the camera through that to see where the heck it goes, because this clean out is directional. It does not allow you to go backwards to see if you can find a spot where, like, you know, my concern right now from what I'm seeing, assuming this is indeed the sewer line, you have got a lot of water that's unaccounted for. And I mean a lot. And that is a concern. If you've got water dumping out, I'm hoping there's some other answer to this question, but if this thing's been this way for a long period of time, you've got a lot of water going somewhere you probably don't want it going. Yeah, and I'm trying, the way this thing is angled, it's a directional style clean out that forces you one way. Sometimes I can finagle the camera to go backwards through these larger 4-inch pipes, but this one's angled too hard. I just can't do it. So anyway, line functions very nicely from the clean out all the way to the main lateral connection. But there's some more mystery here to verify this is indeed the sewer line, and for this home in particular. But yeah, that's all I can tell you right now. Line looks great, but got to figure out what's going on between here and the house.